It's time to check your money with America's Money Maven, Vicki Brackens. Vicki Brackens is the president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a registered representative of LPL Financial, member SIPC. Vicki, looking good in your, what color is that? Is that salmon? What color is that?
I think they call it salmon. I like it though.
It
You
looks
think
good.
it's good?
You're looking
Okay.
good.
All right. I'm gonna keep working on this. Anybody's buying something for me for Christmas? This the color.
That's
Here
the
you go.
color right
It's the
there.
color. Okay. All right. Listen, George, I know that right after I finish today, that you're going to have one of the election commissioners on to really break down all of the details that everyone has to understand concerning what's remaining as far as the voting calendar, etc. So I'm not going to get into that because I want to make sure an expert takes everyone through all of the details. But here's what I want to say. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, we are on the 7 yard line this week. It
Seven?
is seven. Okay.
Okay.
Last week we were on the 10 yard line. Now we're on the 7 yard line. It's second and goal.
Okay.
The center is handing off the ball to Madam VP,
Yes.
and we are running an off tackle right. You remember that? You remember that formation?
Okay. Off
Okay.
tackle
Now
right.
here's what everybody's got to do. Everyone must push the line forward. All the players must enter the end zone at the same time because you know how sometimes you see the quarterback and he's holding the ball and they're pushing from behind and
They call it
everybody
the tush push.
push, yes. Oh no, with Madam VP, we're gonna do that, but the push, okay, right into the end zone because we need to make sure that this time when we say touchdown, we not only are talking about what's happening with the presidential election, but what's happening all the way down the ticket because we've said this over and over again. It's wonderful to win the election as far as the president, but you can't execute and complete the mission unless you have all the players necessary in place to be there in Congress and also in the Senate in order to execute. So we are now 7 yard line on the 7 yard line. We are pushing to the end zone, and we want to make sure that everybody pays attention, votes up and down the ticket for the execution of the vice president of Madam President's. I'm gonna say it that way, Madam President's agenda. All right, George. I've done my
You
football
said you.
analogy.
Hey, Vicky. You said what you said.
I said what I said. Okay. All right. Here's what I also want to talk about. I mentioned this a little bit last week that we had a question from one of our longtime listeners and viewers, and she asked the question that I hear quite often, and that is, how do you take when you talk about retirement? How do you take all of that money, the big bag of cash you've been saving money for months and years, payroll after payroll, looking at the balances go up, 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 up. Now you've reached the point where it's time to retire. But what do you do with that big bag of cash? How do you turn it into income? So we're going to go through some basics on income planning today so that you'll have an understanding of what that bag of cash really represents as far as your income is concerned. I want to step back for a second, though, and say this one thing about the bag of cash. In order for you to know exactly how much you're going to need, there is an essential step that we all must go through, and that is estimating your retirement income needs.
Mm-hmm.
It can't be this little fuzzy thing out there. I think I know. Maybe no, you need to sit down and get an exact understanding of what your expected retirement income needs are going to be.
And here's what I'm thinking about. This goes back a couple of years because it begged the question that you asked us to think about years ago. You know what that question was?
Go ahead, George, tell them.
What's important about money to me?
Can you believe we're back full circle? What's important about money to me? So what does that retirement picture really looks like? Because that's what's important about money to you. So once you have estimated what your income needs are going to be, now we have a goal as far as what's important about money to me. Now we know exactly what we're trying to fund. And then to build the income stream, build the monthly savings pattern that's going to get us the bag of cash that we're going to need. But when that happens, and we're sitting here and it's now 6 months before retirement, sometimes I get calls 4 weeks before retirement and say, how do I turn this into income? Because here's the thing that we all have to realize. If you've been working for 25, 30 years, you have something that's really, really important, and that is consistency. Every week, every 2 weeks, whatever your payroll period is, you know that a check is going to show up, a deposit is going to show up in your bank account.
Right.
That consistency makes you feel very comfortable. One of the things that's most nerve-wracking for a retiree or someone getting ready to retire is like, well, where's the money going to come from? But you're over here looking at your 401k balance, your 403 balance, and you're going like, but where's the money going to come from? Here's what will happen. Two things. Cash has to be converted to income. There are two ways to do that. One, estimating based on a formula that we have used for years as a rule of thumb. You know, you hear about these rules of thumb. One of them happens to be at what distribution rate. All we're talking about is at what, and some people call it burn rate, or at what withdrawal rate can I expect to take money from this big bag of cash and have a sustainable, the word, George, is sustainable, have a sustainable income through thick and thin, because we know the life goes up, life goes down. If you have your money invested, market goes up, market goes down. At what sustainable withdrawal rate can I expect to use in order to make sure that this money lasts as long as I do? And the current rule of thumb is 4.5% to 5%, nothing more. I actually am on the more conservative side, and I say 4 to 4.5%, because we know that looking at historical rates of return, if you're taking out 4 to 4.5% on an annual basis, markets will replenish those funds. And going forward, you will continue to have money going back in from growth that replaces the money that was withdrawn, and you will not run out of money. Now, that is I will say this, it is a conservative factor that I use, but I certainly like being safe versus being sorry.
Mm.
Okay. All right. That is one way. And when you set a structure like that, you are taking ownership. You are controlling the distribution rate. You are controlling how the money is invested. You are controlling exactly what happens, and you still have full possession of the body of the bag. The bag is now fully in your hands. But there's another way. The other way is called annuitization. And I know that there's a lot being written right now about annuitization, so I wanted to make sure that we talk about that. The word is annuity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and an annuity is an insurance product. And when I say an insurance product, it's issued by insurance companies, because insurance companies do things that are called guarantees. That is their specialty. An annuity means that you now have a bag of cash that you can turn into a sustainable income on a guaranteed basis, not having to worry about what's happening with the market, not having to worry about anything that's happening as far as changing in inflation. You know exactly how much is going to come out on a monthly basis. But here's the trade-off. The bag of cash no longer belongs to you.
Mm.
Depending on the type of annuity that you choose. If you choose what's called a lifetime annuity, then you're basically saying, here, I'm immediately annuitizing, I'm immediately turning my bag of cash into income, take all of my bag of cash and guarantee to me for as long as I am on this earth, a payout as far as the income stream is concerned. That is probably the most radical way to do an annuity, but it will give you the most guaranteed payout that there happens to be. You also have asset allocation annuities. You have annuities that are variable annuities. You have annuities that will also allow you to continue to receive or to hold on to the bag of cash and only partially take out income streams. But what you need to remember is that there are two basic structures for an annuity. Immediate annuities, meaning take my money today and immediately guarantee that I get some type of payout, or deferred annuities. I'm going to save for a period of time, and sometime in the future convert that to a payout stream that's going to be there for me as far as my lifetime income is concerned. I am of the feeling or of the experience looking at over time that there is no one size fits all kind of structure that I can say everybody should do the same thing. What I would say is that you need to sit down with a professional to look at your particular circumstance to see if we need to marry and mix and match some of these concepts between distribution and handling it myself, annuitization and having an insurance company handle it, or mixing them together, or breaking them up into different income buckets. There are all types of ways to do this, but you need an experienced individual to work with you to show you the pluses, the minuses, okay, of each one of those structures. Now, George, do you have any questions before I close here?
No, I think you explained that pretty well.
Okay. What?
I did.
No? Okay. All right. There's one for Vicki for this month. Okay.
No, I think it was pretty clear.
Okay. All right. So if you have any questions, in fact, wait, I should say this before I go. I have a very long guide that we can send out on email to anyone who wants it that goes through all of these concepts in much more detail. We can be happy to send it out to you. All you have to do is reach out for info, that's INFO, at BrackensFSN.com. Or you can give me a call at area code 315-930-4499. All right, and be sure to share, like, and subscribe to this podcast. And as George would say, you can pick it up on all of the platforms.
Everywhere.
and everywhere that you want. And this point in time, George, I will say our plate is full.
Vicki Brackens is the president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a registered representative of LPL Financial member SIPC. She is America's money maven.